Welcome to Phoenix Talks, everyone. I am so excited for you guys to be here today. As always, I am joined by the lovely and beautiful and highly aware Diane RDBiase. And
Hello.
as you know, if you've seen my promo for this week, we are going to have a difficult conversation tonight. Soon as I
Yes.
bring up my channel on my phone so I can
Yes.
see you.
The H word.
The H word, yes.
I'm already cringing.
Yes, when I went to Diane about the topic for this week, she was like, "Oh God, no." Okay, sounds juicy. So it's
It does sound juicy. Let's see what happens.
so let me give you the backstory about why we are doing this topic. Now, you might have heard me mention in my other podcast that a lot of people are being called to do vagus nerve resets. And don't ask me the scientific portion of that in just a second. I will let Diane explain what the vagus nerve actually is, because she knows better than I do. But I do know that people were needing it, and a few people that I know were also guided to do one. And individual results may vary. I'm going to put that out there because nobody's going to have the same result when they do a vagus nerve reset. And after hearing what they went through, I was like, okay, I know it's going to be my turn next, and I'm a little nervous because one had really bad gastrointestinal problems, another felt alive inside, looked dead on the outside. So I'm just like, oh God. So I did. And let me tell you, this is the inspiration for the H word. Because I dreamt of an ex that I had left, what is it, 13 years ago now.
Oh, wow.
But there is still a lot of feelings that are deep inside about that time period for me. And I was putting as much of the blame on that as I could at the end of my finger instead of pointing directly. But I had a breakthrough in dreams when I woke up from my dreaming the next morning. Oh my God. I don't hate him. I hate what he did to me. I hate who I became as a result of that relationship and have been trying to
That part.
come back from.
That part. Right there. That part.
Yes, that was the part. And then the
I
next,
get it.
now I did vagus nerve resets 3 nights in a row. So dreams were fun for 3 nights. They're still kind of fun. But anyway, the next morning, I'm doing my typical house cleaning, got the vacuum cleaner out, and all of a sudden, I literally had to stop myself from dropping the vacuum on the floor, because I have one of those little handheld Dyson type thingies. And I'm like, oh my God, it literally just slapped me across the face. I ran to my computer and pulled up Messenger so that I could reach out to Diane. I was like, we're doing the H word.
Yep.
Because it's so vital.
Yeah.
To understand that where it comes from, why we have that feeling, why we say it often.
Yeah. We are programmed to. It's habitual, if nothing else.
Yeah. And just the realization that, oh my God, because there will always be, regardless of how hurt I became during that and recovered from after, there's still that love.
Right.
That doesn't go away. And we hate that.
I know, it's weird.
And we hate the person for making us feel that way.
Right.
Although, but we actually don't hate that person. We hate how they made us feel. feel.
how we changed ourselves and we became
Yeah.
so the H word. Hate is a really what I cringe about with and why I don't like that word. And it slips out of me too, and I don't like even using it. Because it feels like it carries the energy of anger, judgment, disdain, like all those ugly lower vibrational energies that don't feel good. That's what that word carries. So that's why I don't like it, because it's like, ew, it's an icky energy word, you know?
Yeah, and in our live chat, we got Miss D Morrison, and uh, hello, sweet D. So glad you are watching. And she has a great comment on what you just said. That's a very strong emotion. You have to love someone enough to hate them.
Right, exactly. 100%. It is necessary. You said the word necessary. The reason why it's necessary is because there is that duality. You do not understand it's opposite extreme when you feel it, unless you feel that level of hate.
Yep.
And in order to have that level of hate, you do have to have that depth of love within you. It's almost like there is that duality. Its opposite will exist. If you have to experience one, you have to experience the other.
Right.
So we're all going to experience it. And where you were also going with it, where I said that part, is the hate that we end up having toward ourselves.
Yes.
We're already programmed. We're not born this way. We are born pure, of love, all that good stuff.
100% mental
And
wellness.
we are programmed to hate, because anything that is don't do this, fear this, judge that, not enough here, you're doing it wrong there. It's all the resentment builds up, the resentment builds up, the resentment builds up. That's going to turn into hate. But it's not going to, as a child, it's going to turn into hate towards yourself.
Right.
Because
And because we're natural pattern observers,
exactly. As an
when we
adult,
observe a pattern that we have been programmed to look at differently and not
yeah,
because we start off not liking something.
right. So as an adult, when we're around people that don't like us, that are mean to us, like we hate them, we think they're terrible. But we're going to seek their approval. So we're going to shift who we are as people, as traumatized adults
Right.
who haven't healed their childhood traumas. And we're going to now, unfortunately, love this person that might not necessarily have any love for us. They're just going to continue with their hate towards us, but because we want to prove ourselves, now we're putting ourselves in a pickle. So
Exactly.
as an adult, be mindful of how someone makes you feel. If you're feeling like you have to prove yourself in any way, if you're feeling like you don't like something about yourself when you did yesterday, okay, check in with yourself. How someone makes you feel about you tells you all you need to know about them. If
Right.
there's any kind of surface level energy emotions that have a root in hate, run. That's all. Just run.
You know, I want to take a couple steps back when you were talking
Yes.
about children, and as kids, that's when we start to move from not liking to hating. And parents, you remember last week I had mentioned that if your child says I hate you, that means they heard you. Let me finish that sentence now. They heard you use it.
Right.
And they were observing when you said it, what you said it about, and whether you intended to teach them that as a standard. You did. Whether or not you meant to, you did.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, and I get to observe this when I go over and visit family who has children. All of a sudden, the parents are like, when did you start acting this way?
Yeah.
And and you know, me being me, just want to lean in and be like, I'm not going there. But it's true. That's that. If a child says they hate you, it does mean they heard you, but they also heard you use the word. That's where they learned it. And it may not be you directly, but you as an adult, you as a teacher, you as whoever.
Hmm. Right. And to me, hate is defined as an extremely strong dislike.
Yes.
And that is internalized when you're a kid because you feel like you're so heavily disliked, everyone hates you.
Right.
When you're, a traumatized kid, let's put it that way. What does that look like in adulthood? In adulthood, you're not going to handle it well when someone's projecting their pain at you.
Nope.
You're also going to end up projecting onto others because whatever you're projecting out is what you feel about yourself. So this is, should I talk about doing the work? Or just mention it briefly?
Or just, tag, here you go.
Yes. Yes. I have to tell you though, between last week and this week with my ADHD burnout thing that I'm navigating myself through very lovingly, I caught myself a couple times with I hate when my ADHD with the symptoms. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that. Stop it. We love ourselves completely and fully, regardless of whatever our symptoms are inconveniencing us with right now.
Right. I've been on the fence about what I'm about to say since I brought up the topic. But I feel safe enough. And this is one of those, okay, I'm going to ask you to participate now, viewers. You don't have to write anything down. You don't have to memorize anything for a quiz later. But just for a moment, the last thing that brought up that rage-filled feeling inside, that sudden burst of anger that made you say, I hate this. I want you to bring that thought up. I want you to bring that memory up. I want you to think about it for a second. And I want you to notice the change in your body and the change in your physiology, your heart rate, your skin tone. And notice how that feels. Now, stop thinking about it for a second. Now I want you to think about something that you love deeply or makes you laugh. Something that has the exact opposite feeling. It can be recent past, it can be distant past. And notice the difference. So when you feel the second feeling, and all of a sudden there is a quick disconnect from that feeling, you hate it. You dislike it. And one thing that has been on my mind since we started up today is you could use connected, disconnected as perfect parallels in any situation almost between love and hate. Love, you feel connected. Hate, you feel disconnected. And when you feel disconnected, that's when your emotions, that's when your mind is spinning and your feelings are just seemingly out of control. So when you get those feelings, give yourself the permission. If you got to use the H word, use the H word. But know why. Understand, feel it on a level that you've never paid attention to before. And you'll find you'll start using it less.
100%. That's where they hit the pause button and rewind and watch that again real quick.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you didn't get that, hit pause. We'll see you in a couple seconds. Okay, welcome.
Yes. That's a very good exercise to do because it shifts your attention. Oh, that's another thing that we're going to talk about because I'm going to bring it up.
That's fine. Go for it. I mean, it's one of those, you're watching a drama on TV and all of a sudden it comes to a point that I just had. You could hit stop, go about your day and be done. Don't need to know anything else.
Right.
That's not happening here. We ain't done yet.
We ain't done yet. But if you focus on the hate and that energy that comes with, all the anger, the resentment, the judgment of whomever and yourself, because yourself first is always, it begins and ends with you.
Mm-hmm.
Can make you feel any certain kind of way. They can only show you what's inside of you to address and bring it to surface. So, oh God, where was I going with that? Energy. If you focus solely on the energy of the H word, that's what you're going to receive more of. You talked something about manifesting, and I don't know if it was on live or off live, I can't remember, but in manifesting, where your attention goes is where your energy goes is what you get. So you have to be mindful of not maintaining and staying in those emotions. It's okay to acknowledge why.
Mm-hmm.
The why part is very important so that you can understand what needs to shift. But don't live there. Don't live there because you're just manifesting more people to come in your experience, more things that you're going to hate, that kind of thing.
Right, right. And that's a lot like the meme that I posted yesterday. I was like, I don't even need to put a large post. Your perception is going to take care of it. And it was that 3-picture slide.
Yes.
Of the man riding the bike, and he's just riding along, and for some reason he decides to take a stick and put it in the spokes, flips over, and can't understand why this always happens. Oh, and by the way, viewers, if you want to see more of that, or if you want to see any of the things that I put out, #evolve and emerge on Facebook. You'll find it. That's all you got to remember. #evolve and emerge, and it'll take you right to the group and request an invite, and I'll let you in. That said, when we have that feeling and we have that response, and we have the same response every single time we have that disconnect and we have that feeling and the H word just blah right out of our mouth, well, why does this stuff always keep happening? Because you're focusing on it always happening.
Right. So the connection piece, when we have that level of hate and loathing, and that translates to self-loathing, that projects itself and presents itself in our experience. There's things that we can do to shift our perspective of ourselves. And of course, we talk about the work, so go back and watch all of it. That'll help us. But keep in mind that if you feel that, I'm going to remind you, if you feel that kind of hate, you are also capable of feeling its opposite. And you really have to, and it's almost like a habit you got to break. So you have to intentionally focus on feeling its opposite. Well, no, that's not how I want to feel. What is it that I want to feel? And like you were saying, to focus on something that will help you feel that way, but then also allow yourself to implement self-care routines that will help you get there and feel that from yourself. Right. It's fine if you want to think of, because I know nobody was thinking about themselves when they were thinking.
No, they weren't.
Okay, so I'm
not all of them. We don't want to generalize and assume, because there will be people that will will think of
That will.
something that they did and
Yes.
like, damn, I hate that I did that.
Yes. So just recognize that it begins and ends with you, and turn that person or that thing that you love, that you want to think about you. So bring it back to your own heart center, which brings me to the vagus nerve, and that is what communicates with the heart and the digestive system, I believe. And your gut health is directly related to your emotional regulation as well, by the way.
100%.
So it's all connected.
Yep.
And I don't know what other systems it touches upon. I'm not an expert in vagus nerve, but I do know another practice that would help you reset your nervous system.
Yeah. But if you're interested in learning more or doing a meditation, YouTube has tons.
Yeah.
There's apparently a very effective one that I found and shared. It's about 15 minutes long. I can dig up that link and I'll try and post it in the description below so that you can check that out and also support that creator, because it's really helping people and helping them to come to a heightened awareness about themselves and
Yes.
and some of the care that they're not giving. Also, need to put this out. Hydrate.
Yes.
Sleep, hydrate, eat. If you choose to vagus reset, these are a must because your body will have some kind of release. Must be put out there because every single person that I know that has had a vagus reset, if they did not do these things, they regretted it.
Right. And just a reminder of what the vagus nerve is. The two main things I know it's connected to is the heart and the digestive system.
Also the throat chakra.
So the whole middle part of you.
Your torso. Your
From
torso.
here on down.
Because ironically, you don't keep everything up here. Otherwise, your head would explode. So it's got to go somewhere. So it's all get right in there.
Right.
And it just keeps building up, building up, building up. And oh my God.
Right. So I know. So anyway, and of course, Marie is she is very well fed. She's already been out, but apparently she needs some other kind of attention. So here she comes on camera saying how much she
Hi, Maria.
hates when mommy's not giving her attention.
Well, she's probably also picking up the release that you are having and hearing me as well. And dogs and animals pick up on that and they respond. So she's giving them extra love to make sure that you know that you're feeling that love connection.
Thank you. Very slimy. Thank you.
Like, okay, I feel better. Thank you. Stop.
I feel very wet and slimy.
Oh my goodness.
That's some good loving. But anyway.
Speaking of disconnect, we got to reconnect now.
Okay, so reconnection, make that self-loathing understood by you. So become self-aware and consciously aware of what areas and what aspects of yourself, as I wipe off slime, would you need to shift in order for you to align yourself more with the emotions that you truly want to be in alignment with.
Right.
So there's one more thing
in the chat because it's quite busy today, and thank you so much, guys, for watching us live. I really appreciate
Thank you.
it. And I'm loving the conversation. You can go back and take a look at it afterwards because
awesome. Okay.
I don't hide it, so if people want to go through, they can.
Another thing I wanted to bring up is when someone is triggering you and you feel hatred towards them, to pause yourself when you feel that, because what you're feeling is what you were bringing. I'm reiterating what kind of you were touching upon earlier. What you're feeling is disrespected. What you're feeling is not considered. What you're feeling is your needs are not being met. So that's what you're not liking. That's the hate part. The person is the delivery method.
Right.
So that was their job. They did their job. Stop focusing on them and start focusing on what you're going to do not to be disrespected, not to be not considered, not to be, you know what I'm saying? Like that's you need to focus and shift from self-loathing to self-love, because that now becomes self-loving.
Not physical aside, when it comes to responses, reactions, how we take things, what we do with things that we're told, heard, read, that's on us. And that's a hard lesson for a lot of people to understand. And we hate that we have to know that. We hate that we are the ones who have to decide whether or not this other person's attempt, intentional or un, to hurt us actually does. Right. That's on us. It's for us to decide. No one can make us feel any way that we don't give them permission to. I've said that for decades. Yeah. It's hard to embody it, especially if anything they say you believe.
Right.
First agreement.
Yeah. So start with the self, because ultimately when you're solid in here, solid within yourself, no one can make you feel any kind of way. You're going to stop yourself before you feel any kind of way and understand the situation. You know, you gain the self-awareness, you gain the conscious awareness of your surroundings, and you read the room a lot better. You understand when your feelings are not your feelings. But let me explain that, because that didn't make sense to some people. You're picking up on other people's emotions and internalizing it as your own, without recognizing that they're not yours, that you're internalizing emotions that you're picking up on from someone else who's unintentionally, maybe unconsciously, maybe, or intentionally projecting them at you.
And many times, for those who may not be aware of energetics, a lot of times you're responding to physical cues, because those are the largest seen. Somebody can be standing a certain way and it's sending off the vibe that you're not even realizing that it's sending off. I better stay away from that. Yeah. just to give, more of a visual example, because a lot of people, it's called rapport, guys. And this has actually been a conversation recently that, could be addressed. When you are in rapport with a lot of people and you love a lot of people, they're not all going to agree. And being the middleman can be a hateful position here.
So that brings me to another thing that's a great segue into haters. Haters gonna hate. I wanted to bring that up.
Yes.
Thank you for that segue, because that's perfect.
Yeah, you almost slipped. You almost slipped on that. And I'm like, shh, we can't talk about this. You're like, damn it.
I don't even remember what I said. Haters gonna hate. That's the thing. When you're in a position where you choose love continuously and you choose to maintain compassion and love continuously, you're going to irritate a lot of demons and you're going to receive a lot of hate.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to be prepared for that, which hope that you will or are, because you're aligning yourself to maintain love. So that kind of comes along with it. But in case you're spiritually bypassing in some way and not recognizing it, please understand that the way you react to the hater tells you where you're at and what work
Yeah.
that you need to do. So just be mindful, like if a hater, I'm just saying hater, basically someone who's projecting any kind of envy, jealousy, competition, doesn't have your wellness at heart.
Right.
You can feel it. That's what I'm talking about. And that
Let's
comes
call
from
them broadcasters.
yeah. So
That way
whatever.
you don't have to use haters.
Okay.
They're broadcasting, so we're gonna call
Broadcasters
them broadcasters.
of lower frequencies, yes.
Yeah.
So
They're
just
sprinkling their shit everywhere they go.
yes. And if you're accepting their shit, then that's where you need to evaluate that self-loathing piece within you.
Yes.
Because if you know yourself very well and you're solid within yourself and you know that you are maintaining that level of love and compassion, you know you're good and you're solid.
Mm-hmm.
So why is an irrelevant opinion
Right.
affecting you? So give yourself an opportunity to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Haters gonna hate.
And they're gonna keep on broadcasting. Oh, great conversation you guys are having in the chat. I'm not going to interrupt it. So,
any questions or anything?
No, they're actually bantering back and forth.
That's great,
and I'm loving it. So
great. Yay! Thank you.
Keep going, guys. Keep going.
Oh, that's awesome.
But you know, it's crazy. I've been in many situations where I loved both parties. And both parties would broadcast their disdain for the other party to me. It's actually happened to my never mind. But I've been in that position.
Yeah.
And it's hard to stand in Switzerland. And it's very difficult. And while you have the broadcasting from both sides coming at you, and trying not to take any of it personally and remembering why you're standing in the middle. Why am I here? I'm here because I know that if given the opportunity to vent and just to talk to without taking a side, that these two parties that were separated can have the opportunity to come back together. And I have a rule amongst friends. I mean, you shouldn't put rules on friends. Yeah, I just should on you. But when it comes to people that I am friendly with, you don't have to like each other. That's not a requirement. Do have to respect.
That part.
And if there isn't a mutual respect, then I'm no longer that bridge.
Right.
And for my own sanity, for my own mental health and physical health, I have to put my foot down and say no.
Right. So
now, whether or not I make the right or wrong decision, the only decision that's made that's ever wrong is the one that isn't. Because you just sat and decided to sit back and allow this to continue. So that's the wrong decision.
Yeah.
Because whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And typically it turns out to be the way that things are supposed to go anyway.
Right. For our learning, for our lessons, for our evolution.
So don't hate it.
Can't hate anything, but you can. You can't, but you can.
That's almost like being happy when you're in the middle of a movie and a rainstorm causes the lights to go out and the Wi-Fi to go off and you're sitting in the car. Okay, now I'm happy about this. Said no one ever. Because I was just disconnected from what I was doing that was bringing me happiness.
Marie's
It's
upstairs.
not just about relationships. We use the H word in so many different ways.
Yes, I hate these sneakers.
I
I
hate
hate when the
traffic.
door, right. I hate when the door doesn't close right. It's just silly. It's silly. And I tend not to use that word because of the energy that it carries. And I don't want to, when I catch myself, I redirect myself to, no, that's not really how you feel. How do you really feel? Is it true? Is it relevant? Is it kind? You said the word hate, Diane. That's not true. You know what I'm saying? So you got to
Right,
walk through your own little process, whatever that is. We're giving you suggestions on how to help yourself heal.
exactly.
You'll find your own little nook as well, you know.
And yes, Steve, I just saw your comment in the chat. You cannot save the world. Nobody can by themselves.
The world, is that what was
Yeah.
that?
He said, I can't save the world. So I was letting you
No,
know that he's 100% right.
that's right. You can only save those who are meant to resonate with you very specifically.
And what was it that I said either this morning or yesterday? They start to, blend together anymore.
Yes, they do.
But, I love what Gandhi said and the main message that is his legacy. Be the change you wish to see in the world.
Yes, absolutely. Embody the change that you wish to see.
Now, here's my take on it. It's almost the same, but it gives it a completely different energetic. Be the world in which you wish to see the change.
Interesting. Ooh, okay. That one's enough to chew on.
And
Say
if
that again. Wait, say it again.
be the world in which you wish to see the change.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
Because what world do you want to live in? Do you want to live in a world where the H word keeps everybody disconnected from each other?
Mm-mm.
Or do you want to move this to here?
Absolutely. I like that better.
Most people do because it's a better feeling.
Yes. And that's the whole point, is how do things make you feel?
Yeah.
Use your intuition. We're all born with this beautiful natural gift of understanding if we tune into ourselves. So tune into yourself a little bit brighter, a little bit deeper. Trust yourself. Understand when you're feeling those emotions that are aligned with hate and why. Move past them, move through them, empower yourself through them.
Mhm.
Go shifting into other thought patterns and behaviors, focus, shift into something else, and move on. Don't live in that hate energy, and do your best to show haters more love.
Right.
Right. Don't overextend yourself. That's not what I'm saying. Where you're not welcome. But if someone extends hate to you, and you can show them love simply by not responding.
Yes.
Everything's circumstantial.
And here's even more powerful than that. You not only show them more love by not responding, you show yourself more love.
Ah, thank you for saying that out loud. Yep.
I wasn't going to leave that to be assumed.
Oh no. Thank you for saying that out loud. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And if the world that we want to see change, we each are our own walking world. We each have our own biology, biome. Throw some other words at me that deal with that. But we have an ecosystem within ourselves.
Yes.
We have a computer that we use all the time. We have to pump it with gas.
We're the programmers.
Yes.
We decide.
So we have to change our world before we change the world.
Yes. And I promise you, when you change your world, the world around you naturally changes because you're speaking up for yourself. You're fulfilling your needs. You're setting boundaries for yourself. You're extending compassion no matter what the circumstances are.
Yeah. So I was just checking the chat again.
And we're at 6.
Oh, and here comes a train in the background.
Oh, I can't even hear it.
Okay. Hopefully the viewers can't either. But if they do, oh well. Sound effects. There you go. Ding.
There you go. I think I just heard that. That was cool.
Yeah. It's called axle grease, guys.
Yes.
But when we allow someone to become disconnected to ourselves so much that we hate how we look, we hate where we're at, we hate how we feel about ourselves, we hate our situation, we hate not having. And that's something we've allowed on some level. I know the naysayers might hear that be said and say, no, there are some things you just can't control. And my reply, control what you can. And what you can control is your response.
There you go. Absolutely.
Even to yourself.
Mm-hmm. It's always to yourself to start with because it starts with you.
Yeah.
Just make sure that you're being honest with yourself and authentic to yourself.
Yes.
Yes. I just wanted to, I know we have to go because it's time. But I feel like regret is tied in with hate.
Oh, I think you just opened up another 10-minute conversation.
Did we talk about regret yet?
We've danced around it.
So why don't we make that next week's topic? And we'll just talk about regret generally and all the arms and legs that come along with that branch. What do you think?
Oh God, you're disconnecting me. Oh God. I was all set to just blah, and you're like, next week. And I'm just like, okay. Cliffhanger. How much all right, you remember this shit. I mean, they still do them on series, but now with Netflix, you can't, unless it's the end of the season.
Yes.
Cliffhanger, fight in the restroom. But you remember back when we were growing up and we would be waiting a week and then we'd be waiting, oh my God.
Yes.
I have to wait 6 months to find out what happens.
Yes.
Didn't you hate that feeling?
See what you did there. Oh, that's
I've been
brilliant.
told that sometimes my sense of intuition and my sniffer when it comes to red flags and things just not being right is a little off. No, it's not. Ever. It might not smell the right seasoning.
Mm-hmm. But it could still smell something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's why I went around with the cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Because you knew I was going somewhere with it. Like most things I say.
I love it.
And that's not from an arrogant place. That's just okay, I've had enough people tell me, all right, you said this. It wasn't exactly what you said, but yeah, I should have listened.
Mhm.
So listen to this before we say goodbye for this week. Pardon, okay, adult content warning. Fucking love yourself. Okay? Stop hating yourself. You, the viewer.
Mhm. Analyze the ways in which you might be. So analyze everything.
Realize you're going to make mistakes. Don't hate them. Love them. Embrace them because they teach you what you can do better.
They teach you what your limitations and boundaries are.
They also teach you what your limiting beliefs are.
Yes.
And if you get to see this today, guess what? You got another chance. And tomorrow, if you wake up, you get one more. Don't dread it. Thank it. Bless it. Love it. Love that even if you don't like where you have to go, who you have to see. Love the fact that you get to.
Right.
And everything.
I think that piece too, because I think that, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Say that last bit again.
I said, but you start saying these things, start believing them, and everything starts to change.
Yes. And I think that that's the piece that people get hung up on, is that they don't recognize the connectedness with self and how that affects all of their experience. So that self-loathing piece is really the base at the root of the H word.
Yeah.
You don't really hate things, like it's just a thing. Who cares? If it disappears, you get something else. When it comes
Just
to
don't
people,
like quick disconnects.
right? When it comes to people and emotions, it's your needs are not being met.
No.
What's happening there? Are you being disrespected? What's happening? Just how are you not loving yourself? How are you self-loathing? How are you taught to self-loathe? What do you need to unlearn?
Yeah.
Self-analysis. Yeah.
Well, that last little bit got me a little teary-eyed because, being empathic, I feel so much pain. Sometimes to the point that I don't know if it's mine or somebody else's.
Right.
Because I do take it in so much.
Right.
And I'm not shutting it down. I have boundaries, but I'm not shutting it down. But I do know that there's so many people that are in pain because of the hatred that they have of themselves, that they deflect onto everyone else around them in some form of fashion so that they can feel better about themselves. And that's another part of the H word that we're going to end with. Don't deflect how you aren't being taken care of onto everybody else. Don't deflect the discomfort of the things around you that don't make sense.
Right.
People are people. People are different. People are unique. People are beautiful.
Right.
And if you are so led to hate somebody because of how they look, dress, act, marry,
Mm-hmm.
that's on you.
Yeah.
I love you anyway.
Love yourself.
I don't love you, but I love you. I don't like to hate yourself to the point that it extends outward in such a painful way that it almost put me on the floor to have this one conversation.
And that's the thing. If you're dealing with hateful people, they need love more. They need to see what it looks like because maybe they've never had an example. Separate yourself from the human being projecting that and recognize that they obviously must have been through a lot of pain themselves to have that
Yeah.
in them projected out in the way that it's projecting out. So I guess the way I see it is if anybody needs to see what actual love and consideration looks like, it's somebody like that.
Yep. And if this is one more of those topics that you need to or want to talk to either one of us directly, one-on-one with, the information will be put below in the description on how you can find us. Don't forget hashtag evolve and emerge, and you'll find me fastest that way. Or you can use the link that I'll put below. And we will be back next week. The following week, we will be taking a break, and it's for a good reason, which we'll talk about next week, because the excitement will have built a little bit more. So cliffhanger there.
Yes.
The next week. All right, you're right. So be on the lookout for the next promo about regret, because we need to chomp on that for.
We might have to chew on that for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's got a lot of meat and potatoes and branches, so we're not going to lack for conversation. We never do.
I love that we don't. So love yourself, because I love you.
Yes. Project love.
And
I love you too. Thank you.
you, my wonderful hostess.
I love you.
Whatever side you're on of me. Oh wait, we're not. It's flipping back and forth. So you're actually in front. Anyway, make it a great week.
Thank you.
And keep going.
Absolutely. Hang in there, everybody. Ride these waves, because we got some weird waves happening.
And final shout out to all of the Rise community. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and keep rising. All right, guys.